Yes, Kenya. Tamu sana, tamu sana, tamu sana, yes. I want us to have a look at some remarks Rigathi Gachagua made yesterday on the mountain. Remarks that clearly confirms the split between him and Ruto is only but widening. Before we have a look at the remarks, let me say this. As things are currently on the mountain, we have two camps. Uhuru Kenyatta's camp and the Kenya Kwanza's camp. In Uhuru Kenyatta's camp, a majority of Uhuru Kenyatta supporters, they don't care what happens in the Kenya Kwanza's camp. They see Uhuru Kenyatta as their leader, and they are not apologetic for that. In Kenya Kwanza's camp, there is confusion. They are torn between Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua. They don't know whether to sympathize with Rigathi Gachagua or to continue supporting Ruto. That's the confusion in Kenya Kwanza's camp. And if you look at the events that have happened in the recent days, I'm seeing a majority in Kenya Kwanza's camp. Their supporters are now sympathizing with Rigathi Gachagua. And if William Ruto does not change his strategy, Rigathi will soon render him and his team on the mountain politically irrelevant. I'm going to explain that in details. But let's now have a look at the remarks Rigathi made yesterday before we continue. Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has said he and Mount Kenya were misled into denigrating their king, former President Uhuru Kenyatta, adding that the mistake should never happen again. Come rain, come sunshine, we will never again vilify our king. We came here and vilified Uhuru Kenyatta. I repented after that. Did I not repent? Did you forgive me? We will never again vilify the king of the Kikuyu community. Let us teach our youth never again to be used by anyone to vilify our king. Let us love each other so that we get our rightful share of the Kenyan cake. Mr. Gachagua told a rally at Kimende, Kiambu County, on his way back from an engagement in Kinangop, Nyandarua County. That was yesterday. There is a deliberate effort to disunite the gamer community. The community betrayers are still within us, but they can't win. We know their agenda is to be used by the community enemies to finish us. I see darkness. I see people plotting against the community. And I can see young leaders hired to divide us. Let us remain united. Let's ignore the betrayers. Mr. Gachagua said, noting that betrayers within the community have historically been used to undermine unity. That's Rigathi Gachagua speaking yesterday. He was making those remarks on the mountain. So it's very clear that Rigathi has engaged the forward girls. He has decided kama mbaya iwe mbaya. He's not backing down on his narrative. His narrative has been very consistent. The unity of the mountain. And that's the narrative William Ruto hates. Because that's a narrative that is going to make the mountain rally behind one of their own. And that will be very dangerous for William Ruto's presidential bid come 2027. In that should that narrative succeeds, William Ruto will be forced to negotiate with that one leader the Kikuyu nation will be rallying around. That's what is happening here. So, why is William Ruto and his team failing? If you look at Rigathi Gachagua, he has engaged only the forward gears. He's moving ahead. It's either William Ruto to embrace him or not. Kama mbaya iwe mbaya. And as he engages the forward gears, he's also very much willing to embrace Ruto if Ruto is ready to embrace him. And that is creating an impression that he is a loyal deputy president. And that is earning him some support on the mountain and even in the Kalenjin Rift Valley. And in the past few days, if you look at the kind of discussions, especially among Kenya Kwanza supporters, they have been sympathizing with Rigathi Gachagua in that Rigathi has created that impression that he's a loyal deputy president who is being fought by the boss, William Ruto. And I was very shocked to see when some Kalenjins say that in the event Rigathi Gachagua decides to contest for the presidency, they will rather support Rigathi but not Ruto. And that's simply because of the sympathy Rigathi has been able to create. That is very loyal, but Ruto is fighting him. On the part of Ruto, he's engaging the forward gears and the brakes simultaneously. So he's just stuck on one spot. He's not moving forward. He's not moving backwards. He is just stuck. That's William Ruto's undoing. And when I say that, I mean this. We all know Ruto has been behind Nyoro and these leaders who have been fighting Rigathi Gachagua. But Ruto is not consistent on that. He unleashes these leaders and then he comes out again in public to rebuke them, telling them to go slow. I see that as a move that is clearly killing these young leaders Ruto intends to use to fight Rigathi Gachagua. In that the ground is seeing them as young leaders who are too over-ambitious, causing trouble in Kenya Kwanza government. And we know that sometimes Ndindi Nyoro had started gaining some traction. Some Mount Kenya residents had started seeing him as a possible kingpin. But when William Ruto rebuked him in public in Nakuru, Ruto caused confusion amongst these Mount Kenya residents who had started warming up to Ndindi Nyoro. And now they are left confused and they are seeing Rigathi as a possible option. Now that is the only person talking about the mountains welfare, the mountains unity. So the blunder here, if William Ruto is not interested in Rigathi succeeding him, let him allow these young thugs to square it out with Rigathi Gachagua. He should not be trying to contain them. If he contains them and is not able to contain Rigathi Gachagua, Rigathi is actually winning that war. In that these ones have been contained, but Rigathi is still moving ahead, campaigning. And also we know that sometimes back, there was this plan to create 3 deputy UDA party positions. And that was seen as a way to accommodate Musalia Mudavadi and Ndindi Nyoro. Rigathi saw that and complained. He made some noises and that plan was shelved. So again, it shows that William Ruto is not very sure of what to do. He initiates a process, but he is not ready to support that process to its logical conclusion. He initiates a process, but when Rigathi complains, he shelved that kind of a process. Again, that is working against him and actually installing Rigathi as the Mount Kenya's political kingpin as far as Kenya Kwanza supporters are concerned. So if William Ruto wants to get success, If he decides forward, let it be forward. He should not be engaging forward gears and the brakes simultaneously. Rigathi is clearly winning this war against Ruto. And again, if you look at the college in Rift Valley, the mistake William Ruto's team did was to allow leaders from Kalenjin Rift Valley respond to Rigathi Gachagua. That was a very big mistake. Upon Rigathi attacking Rift Valley leaders, the most appropriate leaders who ought to have responded to him, in my honest opinion, ought to have been leaders from the mountain. But now if you see Kalenjin leaders responding to Rigathi, then that was a blunder in my honest opinion. The mountain leaders ought to have responded to Rigathi Gachagua. Yes, let me stop it there. If you are watching us but you have not yet subscribed, subscribe, give the video a like. Those watching us outside Kenya, let us know from which part of the globe you are watching us from. If possible, subscribe, give the video a like. Thank you.